The story I will tell you this time is The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there lived a mother pig and her three little piglets. The first piglet was lazy, the second piglet was hasty, and the third piglet was diligent. As time passed, the little pigs reached the age to live independently. Mother Pig told them to each go out and build their own houses. She warned them that a wicked wolf might appear, so they must build sturdy houses. The three little pigs followed their mother's advice and set off to build their houses. The lazy first piglet was walking along the road. Due to his laziness, he wanted to quickly build a house and go to sleep. Then he saw fallen leaves under his feet. The first piglet thought, "If I gather these leaves, I can build a house, and I can sleep comfortably on the warm ground." So, he quickly gathered some nearby leaves and built a house. Soon, he fell asleep. The hasty second piglet was also walking along the road. He only had one thought in his mind, to build a house quickly. While walking, he noticed trees growing along the path. The second piglet thought, "A house made of wood can be built quickly, and it won't be blown away by the wind." So, he gathered the wood and built a reasonably sturdy house. Finally, the diligent third piglet was walking along the road. He saw leaves and branches, but he paid no attention. The third piglet believed that he needed to build a strong house. So, he found bricks and spent a long time building a house, brick by brick. Meanwhile, the first and second piglets came to visit. The first piglet ridiculed the third piglet. He said that a house made of leaves was warm enough. The third piglet ignored him and continued building the house. The second piglet also mocked the third piglet, saying that a house made of wood was strong enough. The third piglet ignored him as well and continued building. As time passed, the third piglet also completed his house. Suddenly, the cold winter arrived, and a menacing wolf descended from the mountains, searching for food. The wolf appeared at the house of the lazy first piglet. Frightened, the first piglet quickly ran into the house. The wolf, laughing at the house made of leaves, huffed and puffed, blowing the house away. Eventually, the first piglet was caught and eaten by the wolf. Next, the wolf went to the house of the hasty second piglet. Feeling secure, the second piglet thought that his wooden house wouldn't be blown away. The wolf huffed and puffed, but this time, the wooden house didn't collapse. However, when the wolf physically slammed into the house, it crumbled down. The second piglet was also caught and eaten by the wolf. Finally, the wolf reached the house of the diligent third piglet. The third piglet had firmly locked the door. The wolf huffed and puffed, but the brick house remained standing strong. Unable to destroy the sturdy brick house, the wolf eventually gave up and returned to the mountains. The third piglet, who had built the robust brick house, lived happily with his mother pig in their warm and secure home. The story I will share with you this time is The Rabbit and the Tortoise. Once upon a time, in a forest, there were two animal friends named Rabbit and Tortoise. The rabbit was fast but lazy, while the tortoise was slow but steady and patient. The rabbit always played the role of the leader among friends and boasted about being the fastest runner. The tortoise, on the other hand, was often teased by other friends for being the slowest. However, the tortoise never gave up because he had the confidence that he could achieve anything by persevering. One day, Rabbit and Tortoise got into a heated argument. The reason was that Rabbit ignored friends who were not as fast as himself. Tortoise wanted to teach Rabbit a lesson and suggested a race. Rabbit chuckled confidently because he believed that there was no chance of losing to Tortoise in a race. Other animal friends, though unhappy with Rabbit's arrogance, also didn't think that Tortoise could beat Rabbit in a race. Despite the mockery and jeers, Tortoise decided to stick to his principles and participate in the race. As the race day approached, Tortoise trained harder, while Rabbit continued to play and have fun until the day of the race. The day of the race arrived, and many animal friends gathered to watch. Rabbit was very self-assured, knowing that he was going to win easily. Tortoise, however, remained brave, thinking that if he ran steadily, he could win. Bang! The signal sounded, and the race began. At the start, Rabbit took the lead. The rabbit ran quickly, and the tortoise crawled slowly. After a few minutes, Rabbit had already gone far ahead. Even those who were silently cheering for Tortoise started to believe that he would lose. Rabbit was too fast compared to Tortoise. As time passed, Rabbit, who was ahead, decided to take a break. He turned around to check on Tortoise, but Tortoise was nowhere to be seen. Confident of his victory, Rabbit became complacent. Suddenly, he felt a yawn coming on. Knowing that it would take Tortoise a long time to catch up, Rabbit decided to find a shady spot under a tree and took a nap. Meanwhile, Tortoise, with slow but determined steps, continued to move forward. Sweating and feeling pain in his legs, he didn't give up. Even though the cheering friends had left, he kept crawling. After a long time had passed, Rabbit, who was napping, was awakened by the sunlight filtering through the trees. Rubbing his eyes, Rabbit looked back and, to his surprise, saw Tortoise not far from the finish line. Rabbit quickly got up, shocked at how far Tortoise had come. At that moment, in the distance, Tortoise crossed the finish line. The friends who had been cheering for Tortoise rushed towards him. Rabbit, out of breath, also reached the finish line. The race between the rabbit and the tortoise ended with Tortoise's victory. Rabbit, humbled by his arrogance, cried out in frustration. Afterward, all the animal friends no longer ignored Tortoise, and Rabbit reconciled with his friends. Many animal friends came to love Tortoise for his perseverance and determination.